Right people, after a long time we have a spicy iPhone SE rumor heavily suggesting a new design is incoming, so let's delve into this. Essentially, according to a Weibo source called Fixed Focus Digital, the backplate manufacturing process for iPhone SE4 is exactly the same as a standard iPhone 16. Now that's interesting. And I know what you're thinking, oh my god, breaking news, this confirms it, iPhone SE4 is going to look identical to the iPhone 16, right? Right? No. Yes, previous rumors did say the SE4 would basically be a reskinned iPhone 14, but if you read that old report closely, you would find the words modified. And so it's totally possible Apple's only chosen to adopt the new rear chassis process for the SE to achieve economy of scale. What does that fancy term mean? Well, basically Apple wants to streamline the production process for all their products. And remember, the SE4 is going to outlast the 14 in the range. And so Tim, being the logistics genius, he wants to focus on efficiency, which is a good thing. You know what else would be a good thing, guys? If you subscribe to the channel, of course. It's free and would bring you the latest about Apple right to your subscription box, so please consider it. It would be appreciated. Join the Saranbyte gang now. Also, I do want to point out we have heard the newer iPhone SE4 could get a 48 megapixel main sensor, and so with the backplate manufacturing process being exactly the same between iPhone 16 and the SE4, it's totally possible both have a vertical dual camera layout, or at the very least a very similar looking camera module. I can see Apple giving us the same cutouts, and they may be placing a flash or a massive mic in place of the second lens, because you're too broke to have the ultra wides. Also giving us a new camera module would technically mean Apple can call this a brand new design in the marketing, which will fool all the Apple sheep. Cue evil Timothy laugh. Anyways, let's move on to other details we know about the SE4. So according to leaker Unknowns21, partially assembled prototypes of the next SE have been equipped with lithium-ion batteries bearing the model number A2863, which Apple has already used in the past for, guess what? Drumroll, the iPhone 16, which isn't really surprising. Now, the actual capacity of the battery is 3,279 mAh, which is a substantial upgrade over the iPhone SE's 2018 mAh battery. Now, I do actually have the SE3 as a beta testing device, and whilst the battery life isn't terrible, it is just about good enough in my opinion, and so having a battery capacity similar to iPhone 14 is fantastic news because the 14 in my experience got me 7 or 8 hours of screen on time, and that's plenty enough for most consumers. Unknowns21 then explains the obvious and says it will save Apple money to reuse components, and while it doesn't take a genius to work that out, believe it or not, but using old battery tech and chucking it in the new device is gonna be cheaper for Apple. Who'd have figured? Jokes aside, this is the blueprint for the SE in general. It's a recycle bin device. Whatever components can be found in the pots bin ends up being the new SE, and while considering they still produce the iPhone 14 design, it does make it the perfect candidate for the new SE. Remember, the SE2 replaced the iPhone 8 that was still being produced, and the SE1 replaced the 5S that was also still being produced. Now let's delve into what you probably want to know about the most, which is the release date and price. And unfortunately, because every leak on the planet likes to be vague with these details, no one is yet to pinpoint when exactly we'll see this device. But I have a cheeky theory, and I think we're going to see this in early 2025. Why? Well, Unknowns21 makes it clear time and time again, this will be based on the iPhone 14. And usually when Apple releases a new SE, the model it's replacing is the oldest iPhone they sell. Right now, that's the iPhone 13. And so if it's based on the iPhone 14, we'll have to wait till the iPhone 16 series launches, and then it'll come down in price to $599. Apple will likely also discontinue the 14 Plus, and so only the 14 will be there at $599, which means it can easily swap out for the new SE in early 2025 at around the same price. Why I think it's coming early next year instead of September with iPhone 16 is simply because Apple has been launching iPhone SEs during the spring pretty consistently, and so they're likely going to stick to that. Pricing wise, I do think the new SE unfortunately is going to be a little more expensive than the outgoing model. I mean, did we really think Apple was going to give us a new design, OLED, a better camera for the same price? This is not a charity, people. Timothy's here to make the big bucks, and it's definitely going to be more expensive, and Apple can 100% justify it. Now, there is a chance it could be $50 cheaper than iPhone 14, which could be $599 once the 16s arrive, and if you're wondering why I think this, it's because when the SE2 released, it was $399 and replaced a $449 iPhone 8. And so the same thing could happen here, of course, but I don't think it's going to be any cheaper than that. Maybe $499 if we're lucky, but yes, it is going to be more expensive than the SE3. Now that could mean the SE3 stays in the range for $399, which even then would be horrible value, I can't lie. But considering they kept the iPad 9 around when the iPad 10 originally released, I would not be surprised if Apple does the same with the SE. But hey, hopefully once the SE4 has been around for a year or so, we see a price cut, just like the iPad 10 recently dropped to $349. And I know there's gonna be some in the comments saying, oh my god, Apple's scamming us, this is too expensive for an SE. But guys, they're gonna sell a bucket load of these. I know the tech community hates the SE3, and I understand why it's not great value at $429 when there's much better spec Android phones for a similar price, but that doesn't stop it from consistently being a great seller. And that's the thing, guys. Yes, we techies focus on the raw specs, but at the end of the day, only the SE offers iOS and that sweet hardware and software integration, even if Android phones offer the best displays and cameras on the planet for that price. There will be those who buy the iPhone because they want iMessage, they want AirDrop, and they want that longer support. So basically what I'm trying to say is that Apple's still going to sell millions of these, even with the higher price. But personally, unlike the SE3 right now, the SE4, based on the rumors, does seem to offer decent value. Honestly, for me, the killer feature might not be the new design, it's actually the 48 megapixel main camera. That would be a game changer. It would easily make up for the fact this has one lens on the back of the device, because the 2x crop with the much larger main lens is basically as good as a dedicated telephoto lens. And the ultra wide on the regular models are super soft anyways. So yes, I'm totally fine with one fantastic, superb, incredible 48 megapixel sensor on the back of the phone. And that could be the big reason to get this over the older iPhone 13 or 14. Because yes, even if Apple doesn't sell those phones post the launch of the SE4, they're still going to be available to buy, refurbished or used, but I still think the SE4 is going to be the better buy over those devices because it's going to have a newer chipset, a much better camera as I'd mentioned. Also forgot about this, but because of the EU, there's going to be Type-C on this as well. So yeah, there are plenty of reasons to buy this over the iPhone 14 or 13, even though it's going to look near identical. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching. So today let's talk about the iPhone SE3, because whilst it is an overpriced iPhone if you buy it from Apple directly, you can thankfully find it for much less via third parties. I got mine for $200 and I've seen it for as low as $149, and so let's delve into why this actually might be one of the best bang for your buck devices you can buy in 2024. So for those not aware, I did actually review the SE3 back when it released, and I wasn't so positive